The sequel opens with a ship in stormy waters, hauling up a heavy, barnacle-covered metal cage from the depths of the ocean. The fishermen on board believe they've struck gold, thinking it might be some kind of treasure. But as they begin to break it open, the mood shifts. Inside is a woman, known as Quinn, gasping for air. Years later, in the modern day, Andy and her crew are in Croatia. They're preparing to take down a human trafficking operation. Andy is back in the field even though she's no longer immortal. Joe and Nikki are tasked with creating a diversion. They steal 2 expensive sports cars parked and tear through the streets, pulling several guards away from the estate. With the front gates left unguarded, Andy and Copley quietly approach the house. But the silence doesn't last long. More guards inside notice them, and a brutal shootout begins. Andy, sword in hand, moves through the estate with her usual precision, slicing down the men who try to stop her. Meanwhile, Nile, stationed on a yacht nearby, spots trouble and takes action. She rams the yacht into the front of the mansion, leaps from the deck, and climbs up the side of the building. Gunfire erupts around her as she jumps from a balcony and swings through the window into the lobby. She joins Andy, tells her that their main target is upstairs, and the 3 of them move together. After a swift and bloody climb, they reach their mark and take him out. Back at their hideout, Nile checks in on Andy. She asks how it feels to be mortal again, and he admits that she's relieved. After centuries of being unable to die, the idea of aging and passing on now feels like a gift, something she's been quietly hoping for. But their conversation is interrupted. Copley gets a call from one of his contacts, and he's also sent a photo. When he shows it to the group, they immediately recognize the woman in the picture, Discord. She's been buying illegal weapons from the very trafficker they just eliminated. Nile stares at the image and freezes. She's seen this woman before, but not in real life. In her dreams. She explains that Discord was in a library with a man, flipping through ancient books. None of them are sure what the dream means, but Andy has a feeling they'll find out soon. The next morning, Andy and Copley split from the group. In a busy marketplace, Andy tells Copley to wait while she visits someone she hasn't seen in decades, Twa, another immortal, one of the oldest. He welcomes her into his home and offers her tea. She already knows that the man from Nile's dream is Twa, and he doesn't deny it. He takes Andy and Copley beneath his house, into a secret underground library filled with scrolls, relics, and ancient books, all chronicling the history of immortals. Twa tells Andy that one of the most important texts, a book that holds the truth about their origin and history, has been stolen by Discord. He then tells her something she didn't expect: Discord is the first of them. Twa explains that he and Discord were both there the day Andy and Quinn were separated. He remembers how deeply Discord hated humanity for what was done to Quinn. And now, with the book in her hands, Discord knows everything about them. Twa fears she'll use that knowledge for something dark. Andy then confesses that she's lost her immortality, and Twa is shaken. Elsewhere, Booker is being held captive by Quinn. She wants to know where Andy is. Booker tells her the truth: he's been exiled by the crew since he betrayed them and has no idea where she is now. Quinn asks if Andy ever talked about her, and he says yes. He tells her that Andy searched every ocean she could, looking for her. But that only stings Quinn more. She reveals that, all the time she spent locked in the cage, she believed Andy must have been suffering in some similar hell, only to learn she'd escaped centuries ago and never came for her. She's furious and heartbroken. Later, Andy brings Twa back to the hideout and introduces him to the others. Not long after, Joe gets a call. It's Booker. He wants to meet. Joe and Nikki head out and find Booker. He gives Andy a letter from Quinn. She reads it, and in the letter, Quinn says the world has changed too much. It's fast and strange and nothing like what they once knew. She talks about her heartbreak, learning that Andy escaped long ago but didn't save her. She writes that Andy broke the promise they made, to never abandon each other, but asks to see her. Andy decides to go. Nile insists on going with her, just in case. The two travel to Rome. Andy walks the streets alone until she sees Quinn. They stand face to face for the first time in 500 years. Quinn doesn't hide her anger. She tells Andy that she failed her. Andy apologizes and asks how long she's been free. Quinn says it's been a few months. Andy offers her a place with the crew, tells her she doesn't have to be alone anymore, but Quinn refuses. She won't fight for mortals, not after what they did to her, and walks away. Andy follows, and the two clash. The fight is intense and brutal, each one predicting the other's moves. Eventually, it ends in a draw. Nile arrives and interrupts, telling them that Discord is in the city. Andy realizes the truth. Quinn is working with Discord, and they're not after her, but Nile. A final fight breaks out, but Quinn grabs the pendant from around Andy's neck and escapes into the crowd. Andy chases her, but Quinn is already gone. Later, Nile finds Discord waiting for her in a quiet chapel. She tells Nile she was there when Jesus was crucified, telling her that she watched it all happen. Then she turns the conversation sharply, accusing Nile and the others of playing God. Discord claims that all of them have been brainwashed by Andy for centuries. According to her, Andy's repeated interference in the lives of mortals is what led to them being hunted across history. Every time Andy tried to do good, it brought suffering to their kind. Discord then drops a truth that unsettles Nile: she is the last of their kind. No more immortals will be born after her. She then tells her that it's not random, there's a reason for it. Nile is special. She has a power she hasn't discovered yet. And then, as if to prove a deeper connection, Discord rolls up her sleeve and shows Nile a birthmark on her arm. It's identical to one Nile has. Discord tells her that they're linked by more than just fate. She says their mission now is to end the cycle, to stop immortals from interfering in human affairs, then tells her she'll see her soon and walks away. Nile is left shaken, her mind keeps going back to Discord's words. When she reunites with the team, she tells them everything Discord said. The others don't dismiss it, they realize that Discord might know something they don't, something dangerous. Later, Twa meets with Booker in private. He's been researching. He believes Discord's interest in Nile is based on an old legend, one that says a wound inflicted by the last immortal can strip immortality from anyone. He shows Booker his findings and tells him that Nile might be the reason Andy became mortal. After all, Nile was the first to ever wound her. Twa also tells him the other half of the legend: the one who loses their immortality can pass it on to someone else, if they choose. Booker hears all of this and decides to test the theory for himself. While Nile is training, he approaches her and joins in with some light sparring. Twa watches from a distance. After a few passes, the sparring intensifies. Booker moves into a position and lets himself get cut. It's not deep, but enough to matter. As he waits for the wound to heal, nothing happens. He's stunned. Twa steps in, realizing what Booker just did. His theory is confirmed: Nile can take immortality away. Meanwhile, Discord is keeping her own plans moving. She meets with Quinn and reminds her who rescued her from the ocean. She tells her not to think about Andy anymore, as she's now there for her. Discord promises she'll help Quinn make the world suffer, if that's what she wants, and Quinn agrees. They then board a private jet together and travel to Indonesia. When they arrive, they drive a truck into a nuclear facility. Armed guards open fire and the truck crashes, but Discord and Quinn don't die. Their wounds close quickly, and Quinn gets up and starts killing with her own crew of mercenaries. Quinn and Discord break through and take control of the site. Back with the team, Copley shares urgent intel. There's been a breach at a nuclear facility in Indonesia. A bomb has been placed at the core. If it detonates, millions will die. The team realizes this is a trap, but it doesn't matter. They don't have a choice. Before they leave, there's a quiet moment between Booker and Andy. He tells her he's sorry for everything. For betraying them in the past, for chasing a cure instead of standing by her. He tells her that maybe Quinn is acting out of pain, and maybe Andy should have fought harder to reach her. Andy listens, and something in her shifts. Meanwhile, Quinn and Discord solidify their control of the nuclear plant. The guards are dead and the facility is theirs. They set the bomb and wait. On the other side of the world, the old guard is suiting up. They know they're walking into something far worse than a battle. They're stepping into a war against one of their own and a force that might finally end them all. Later, the team arrives at the nuclear facility in Indonesia under a heavy, uneasy silence. The place looks abandoned. They scan every corner for signs of movement but find nothing. Just as they begin to relax, guards suddenly emerge from hidden positions, surrounding them. Without hesitation, the crew fights back. Swords flash and bullets ricochet. The immortals cut down the ambush with brutal efficiency, clearing the area in minutes. They push forward into the main building and rush toward the control room. But the team is fast, they duck and charge. Within seconds, the guards are dead, their blood pooling on the floor. The crew bursts into the control room, but the second they're inside, the heavy doors slam shut. They try to pry them open, but it's no use. They've been trapped, split off from Andy and Nile on purpose. Before they can regroup, a hissing sound fills the room. Gas pours in from the vents, and the crew realizes too late that it's a nitrogen compound. They collapse and fall unconscious. Elsewhere in the facility, Andy and Booker ride a freight elevator, trying to get above ground. The silence between them is thick, but Booker breaks it. He looks at Andy and tells her quietly that she's healing again. She doesn't believe it at first, until she feels something different about herself. Booker tells her he passed his immortality to her during their earlier encounter. He wanted her to have it back, to lead the crew again. the elevator dings open, revealing a squad of guards. Andy steps out without hesitation. The bullets come fast, but she heals through each one, cutting them down like she used to. Booker kills as much guards as he can, then gets killed himself, finally setting himself free. Deep below, Nile crawls from the rubble of the earlier explosion. She follows the sound of machinery and enters a chamber, where she finds Quinn waiting. Without a word, the two launch at each other. Nile manages to cut Quinn across her side. Quinn stumbles, expecting to heal, but nothing happens. Her eyes widen in shock. Before Nile can react, Discord steps out and drives a blade into her chest. Discord says nothing, and walks away, leaving them on the floor. At the same time, Andy races through the facility, looking for her team. She finds Quinn in the core chamber, sitting over a live bomb. The timer is primed, but Quinn isn't pressing the button. Her thumb hovers over the detonator, but something in her has shifted and she pulls her hand away. Andy barely has time to process it before she hears the roar of a helicopter engine outside. Andy sprints to the surface and spots the chopper lifting off. Without thinking, she charges forward and leaps, grabbing the landing skid. A guard in the cockpit fires at her. Andy takes a bullet to the shoulder and loses her grip, slamming to the ground. Bloodied but determined, she keeps running. Another helicopter is about to take off. Discord is inside. Andy hurls herself in before the doors can close. The two immortals crash to the floor of the chopper, weapons drawn. The fight is fast and vicious. Discord is faster, more precise. Her strikes are sharper, her technique ruthless. Andy struggles to keep up. Then she sees it, a fresh cut on Discord's fingers, and it's not healing. Andy realizes the truth: Discord is no longer immortal. Discord catches her looking and tells her coldly that Nile is the destroyer, the last immortal. The one who can strip the gift from others. That's why everything has been set into motion. To reshape the future and end it. Andy lunges at Discord, swinging her blade. But Discord parries and counters, landing a brutal blow. She drives a knife into Andy's back. Andy crumples to the floor, and Discord jumps into her own chopper, leaving Andy alone and bleeding on the tarmac. Sometime later, Andy sits in Twa's library, searching through ancient texts. She flips through legends, symbols and bloodlines, anything that might explain what Nile is becoming, but nothing helps. Quinn tells her that if they want to get their people back, they'll have to work together. The two of them leave together, former enemies now bound by a common goal. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more notifications. Until next time. See you soon.